Alright guys, so how I have built 16-inch arms at 9% body fat. This is a huge video if you want to build some muscle yourself, get a top tier elite Adonis physique. Not that long ago actually I did a video on the truth in terms of how I maintain 9% body fat, or sub 10% body fat I think it was called. And I talked a lot about satiation per calorie, which is the driving force behind the success behind that. Loads of you guys found it very useful. So think of this video as like the the muscle gaining equivalent, or the muscle gaining follow-up to that video. So I'll kind of talk about the key driving forces behind what led to me doing this. Before we talk about the nitty-gritty stuff, I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I'm not interested in bragging. But I have to give you some numbers to get the facts across, or at least the facts as I see it. I started out with 14.9 inch arms. Sorry, no. When I was much younger, my arms were more like 14 inches, I think. And then when I really started getting into the testosterone and the physique maxing stuff, they were more like 14.9 inches then. And I was about 11 or 12% body fat. It is so cold, my mouth isn't even moving properly. It's all frozen up. So if I look like I'm having a stroke, that's it. It's that cold. But 14.9 at 11 or 12% body fat. So not bad. Not a bad physique, to be fair. It was okay. But it wasn't anywhere near as impressive as now. Now they are 16 inches at 9% body fat. So you guys have seen my physique pictures recently, probably, if you're on Instagram. That's what that physique is. With a pump on, I think my arms are over 16.5 inches, something ridiculous. 16.7 or something. But yeah, that's the physique. I honestly haven't seen anyone in real life with a better physique in years, in a long time. Certainly on the beach when I was in Crete, in any of these UK gyms, I've not seen anyone better. On Instagram, there's plenty of guys better, but that's Instagram, it's not the real world. So 16-inch arms at 9% body fat is a pretty elite goal, I would say. I think you're going to look really good at like 15 and a half at like 11%. Most guys will look really good then. But they're just some numbers to throw out there in case you're interested. 16-inch arms, whilst being like chubby, that's just not going to look the same. So body fat percentage matters a lot. But how did I get there here? I think the biggest underlying training factor is going to be intensity. You see all these gurus on YouTube talking about training volume. Training volume is kind of useless on its own if the intensity is not there. It's the intensity that forces the muscles to break down, and then you have an opportunity to rebuild them bigger and stronger. But you've got to break them down in the first place, and you've got to break them down more efficiently and more intelligently than you have done in the past. So training intensity, man, is the first thing to look at. And there's many ways to do things more intensely other than putting more weight on the bar, which is like the basic thing to do. But you want to do this across multiple exercises, not just one type of curl or tricep extension. You want to have several exercises per training session, and you want to apply the intensity to both of them or all three of them. And I was doing 3 at the time, at the peak. And you want to do this 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times a week. I started off twice a week and I built up to 3 times a week. And every single week you build on the previous session. An extra couple of reps here or there, or an extra drop set, or an extra rest pause set, or you build in some kind of superset where you alternate back and forth. Training intensity though, and building on that intensity and maintaining it and increasing that intensity is the first thing, guys. It's not training volume or some of this real scientific-y sounding stuff. Also, what is equally important is the recovery side of things. And this is where a lot of older guys fall apart. They're training 6 days a week and they have no days off, and they're 52 years old and their testosterone levels are like 400 or so. You want to take days off for many reasons. Partly because you just grow on your days off, that's the truth. Partly because of cortisol levels, you need these to dissipate. Cortisol is catabolic, it is not an anabolic hormone. If your cortisol's too high, you ain't getting huge. It's not going to happen. And you also want your joints and your nervous system to recover. You do need these if you want to keep pushing heavier weights. You want to push for the progressive overload. You're going to need your joints to be healthy. You don't want to be getting injured. Putting yourself out for 6 months, that's not smart. So days off are extremely important. And so yeah, recovery in general. You want some days off. You must have enough protein. At least 150 grams. If you're over 6 foot, or you're very or you're quite muscular already, kind of like how I was, you're probably going to need more than 150. If you're very lean, you're probably going to need more than 150. And not only this, but that 150 or 170 or whatever it's going to be, you're going to want that to be high quality protein. Some of you guys are, for religious reasons or for, I don't know, some reason, you're avoiding meat. Eggs are really, really good. If you're eating eggs, that's good. But if you're just having whey protein or dairy or tofu or these vegan things, that's not the same as eating meat on a regular basis. In fact, I would actually go as far to say as that eating 100 grams of protein per day from meat is going to put you in a better position than having 150 from vegan sources. The amino acid content, the nutrient density, just the usability is completely different. So that's protein quality. You also, I literally just recorded a video on intermittent fasting, or fasting in general, with testosterone. You don't want to be fasting if you want big arms. Now, if you're 45 watching this and you know you've got a family, you want to be there for them, you want to live a long time, I think some kind of monthly fast is a very good idea for longevity. But for the guys who want to build a truly elite physique, you could still do like a quarterly fast or something for health reasons, but just be aware that fasting tends to increase stress hormones, just like training 7 days a week does, and you're going to need time for those hormones to dissipate. These stress hormones are catabolic. They tend to eat tissue rather than build tissue. So it depends what your goal is. If you want big arms, I wouldn't be fasting. I would have some kind of protein first thing. Could be eggs, could be whey, could be Greek yogurt or something like that. 20-30 grams of protein first thing. It's going to increase the protein synthesis, keep your cortisol levels a little lower. I think that's a very good idea. But those are the main fundamentals. Sleep is a big one. If you're only sleeping sleep's huge. If you're only sleeping 5 or 6 hours a night, Getting that to 7 or 8 is going to be a huge factor for increasing your arm size. And then testosterone tends to go up as a result of those 3 things. But there's a few other things like Tonka Ali to think about, certain herbs that can give you a nice boost. Getting more sun can give you a boost. Various testosterone things to think about. If you have 1,000 testosterone, assuming you're training properly, you will gain more muscle than the guy that has 300, obviously. But yeah, that would be the fundamentals for big arms. If you want to check out the sub 10% body fat video where I talk about satiation per calorie, the things that really allowed me to lock in a super ripped physique year round, check out that video. I'll link it here. My hands are going to freeze. I'm going to lose them soon, so I'm going to end this video. Check out that video and you'll enjoy it.